We're all familiar with passionate stories of courage born in times of adversity. To me, none are more prominent than the courageous story of Britain's wartime leader, Winston Churchill. Churchill was famous for his leadership of the UK during World War II. He was born in 1874 to an aristocratic family, and as a child, he struggled academically. After 3 failed attempts at the entry test, he eventually attended Sandhurst Military College, and then in 1895 took up active service with specific interest in war correspondence, travelling to Cuba, India, and Sudan. Churchill obtained a commission to become the war correspondent in the Second Boer War in South Africa, where he was captured and imprisoned, later escaping and travelling 480 kilometres to rejoin British troops and continue fighting. He returned to England, publishing his war experience, and in 1900 he campaigned for the Oldham constituency in the England general election and won. Over the next 30 years, Churchill took very important posts in both politics and in the military, with a high degree of success as well as some significant failures. He famously championed significant developments in minimum wages, mental health, and social welfare, many of which still impact our current society nearly 100 years on. The 1930s were known as Churchill's wilderness years, which he made famous through his outspoken and unpopular commentary on India's self-rule, warnings about the rise of Nazi Germany, and calling for immediate British rearmament. When war broke out in 1939, Churchill was made British Lord of the Admiralty for the second time, and when Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain resigned in 1940, Churchill replaced him. By this time, most of Europe had fallen to Nazi Germany. Italy had declared war on Britain. Japan was about to join forces with the Axis of Power. Russia had signed a non-aggression treaty, and the United States had sat on the sidelines. Hitler's sights were firmly set on Britain, and against all odds and all adversity, Churchill refused to surrender. He boosted the morale of the nation and the public support for the war effort with his rousing speeches and his iconic V for victory. He developed strong relationships with US President Theodore Roosevelt, known as the Grand Alliance, and retained difficult relationships with the Soviet Union, who referred to him as the British Bulldog. Over the next year and a half, Churchill held fast through the Battle of Britain, the Blitz on London, an ageing sea fleet, an overstretched air and ground force, not knowing where relief or alliance would come from. On the 7th of December 1941, Japan bombed Pearl Harbor. 4 days later, Germany declared war on the United States, and the Grand Alliance was fully formed. That night, Churchill later recalled, I slept the sleep of the saved and thankful. Many of my favourite Winston Churchill lines have come from that era. One of them, success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Churchill's courage in that period to push ahead into the darkness of war against all the odds is widely credited with setting the foundation for the ultimate victory. He was nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize, received the Nobel Prize for Literature, and was the first person to become an honorary citizen of the United States. The opportunity to step out of our comfort zone and show courage is ever present in our lives. After nearly a decade in property, I started Blue Wealth in the height of the GFC. The economy was stacked against me, the risk was high, and there were plenty of opinions and forces not working in my favour. My journey was to back my convictions and belief in the potential of the Blue Wealth business model and take the leap of faith. At Blue Wealth, we have the knowledge, experience, systems and research to move you forward in making an informed decision. Now, while investing in property doesn't compare with the gravity of war, it is one of the most important decisions that we will make in our lives. Finding the courage to confront fear is a characteristic of greatness. No matter where you are in your journey right now, courage and determination will lead you to achieve your goals.